Yeah, how dare the star of the show be late? Is Dire
I
Wolf
know,
here?
right?
Welcome back, Cubs. We're
Oh,
gonna be
look,
talking.
we're fucking live. We're live. So I've got to
Yes, we
finish
are.
off.
We're live. Welcome back, Cubs. Dire Wolf here. We're gonna be doing we're doing a little talk about fake news. So we got with us here Bearing. Say hi.
Hello.
Some of you guys might know him. He's a new YouTuber. Then we have Bearing Sock Account, Helping Hand,
Yep. Pleasure to meet everyone.
and then we have Amanda Wolfchild.
Hi.
Okay, cool. So
Amanda, I've heard your name heaps of times, but I've never met you. I've been interested to meet you because I've heard your name heaps of times.
You've replied to comments I've made on your channel twice, but I comment on like every video. I'm everywhere.
I do.
she's a pretty good new YouTuber. So today we're talking about fake news, and what I mean by that is selective reporting, like with CNN reporting on some parts of Benghazi, but ignoring most of it, or dropping people from their news reports when they go off narrative, or when they refuse to report on the WikiLeaks, or reporting on topics that or refusing to report on topics that don't fit their narrative. And then deceptive reporting or deceptive editing, like when we had the riots and that we call it Civil Smith's sister was saying that she should burn down white neighborhoods, but they edited it to sound like she was calling for peace.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just straight out reporting fake stories. So we're all brought some of the funny stories. And I'm going to start off with Bearing. What's a good fake story from the news?
Well, the obvious one is this recent BuzzFeed one.
Of course. So you want to tell us about that?
Oh, I don't really know about it. Some cunt fucking published. Didn't BuzzFeed publish was it a fake dossier? There was a claim that that 4chan was responsible for it, wasn't it?
I'm not sure about 4chan. It definitely was circulating there, but it was basically op research. It was a fake story. Some people credited to Russia, but it was received by CNN months ago, and there was no evidence, and they already had disproved it, and they refused to run it back then. Even CNN refused to report it back then. But then BuzzFeed decided to take this story that had no evidence of Trump going to Russia and Putin giving him 2 prostitutes for him to pee on, and report that as.
Oh, was the story he was peeing on them? I thought they were peeing on
believe
him.
it was him peeing on them, but
that changes things. That's an important fact.
It was basically golden showers, and that was the story, but there was no evidence behind it. And BuzzFeed decided to run that obviously fake story, and then CNN reported that people were talking about this story. Well, that's what I was sort of wondering something along those lines the other day. I mean, even with BuzzFeed, I mean, aren't they? I mean, is it not news to say there's this big bogus story going around? Is that not news? They didn't really report it as being bogus. They reported that it was being reported.
Yeah, they said there was serious doubts, though, didn't they? I mean, were they not heavy enough on the disclaimers?
Not really. They didn't discount it too much. But then that led to Trump's at the press conference calling them fake news and refusing to answer their questions.
That was funny.
It was hilarious.
So fucking funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was classic. Oh my god.
I think it was CNN that made a big point about the fact that this was unsubstantiated and that they were just reporting on something that was being reported. But BuzzFeed was the one that kind of made it sound more like it was something real. That's the distinction they tried to make.
Well, CNN's definitely got less sort of blood on their hands than BuzzFeed, don't they?
Yeah.
See, the funny thing is, I never really got the full details of this whole Pissgate story before you invited me into this live stream in the first place. So I was kind of waiting to hear about it here. But in looking up fake news stories, I had to find it hilarious that one of the first results to come up was BuzzFeed, and they have like this list of 50 different fake news sites and 50 different fake stories and all this. And I'm like, wow, really, BuzzFeed? I'm like, are we supposed to trust you about this? And like, the other big one that was listing sites like this was Salon.com, and we know they're in bed together. I'm like, wow, this is fucking hilarious. Everybody's trying to claim their own little space of truth in this whole thing. Like, no, we have the correct story. No, you don't. You're BuzzFeed. You're full of shit.
One of the
Yeah.
fake stories I came with was that the mass media targeting fake news isn't really about targeting fake news. It's more about them targeting independent reporting. Because
Right.
yes, there is some legitimate fake news out there that they're targeting, but they're also scooping in on the list of fake news other places like YouTube and people that are actual reporters, and are giving true information, but it's competing with them. They want to be the sole source. Another example of this would be when CNN reported that it was illegal to read WikiLeaks.
Oh yeah.
But it was
Mhm.
but news reporters, they had an exception. They're not like the standard people. They get to read WikiLeaks, but you have to believe what they tell you is on WikiLeaks. So you can't look for yourself because then you might go to jail.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I must have watched that video a million times. Like the way he emphasizes the word illegal as he speaks it.
Yeah.
So they're really saying that it's okay for news reporters to read this shit, but it's not okay for
Yes.
Joe Public.
Yeah,
Special
That
plea.
is so fucking stupid. That's ridiculous.
They're
Mm.
saying they're the arbitrators of what we should see, that they're the ones that get to decide what's real and what's fake.
And that's
And what is a reporter? Am I a reporter? Are you a reporter? Like, where does that start and stop?
yeah. Is there
Yeah.
even a license for reporting? I mean, it's just people.
Exactly.
Right.
There's always been fake news. We just used to call it the Inquirer, and it's the little tabloids that you read in the grocery store.
Right.
I mean, you just have to be smart enough to search into stuff and know what's bullshit, but people don't want to do that nowadays. They want to be spoon-fed.
Maybe you've got to be wearing like at least an $800 suit or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
that's
part
the
of
line.
the door of it.
Yeah, those are the days that I miss. The days of 90s and early 2000s tabloids when you can look at it and just know flatly that it's bullshit and that it's purely for entertainment.
Like Bat Boy.
And it's got to be about the British royal family like having sex with each other.
Oh yeah.
Or Jean Benet is still alive, or Elvis or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
Hans, what's
hearing
another
that.
story?
Well, one of the first ones that I came by was, and I was actually using Snopes as a jumping off point, but I'm finding that as I was doing that, I was finding that there were a lot of outlets that were actually trying to call Snopes fake news as well, because and like they were shilling for Hillary and all this, which is hilarious because if you just go through like the first few pages of their stories, you can tell that if they were really shilling for Hillary at the time, they had plenty of opportunities to capitalize on it and they didn't. But one of the more interesting ones that I came by was they were talking about Mexican drug pin El Chapo having donated $15 million to the Clinton Foundation, which was just outright bullshit right from the get-go. And they actually referred people to WikiLeaks, knowing full well that most people would be too lazy to actually fact-check this crap. So I went to WikiLeaks, and if you search El Chapo, like the most recent result that you will get was from like 4 years ago, and it has something to do with him being extradited to the United States. And if you search El Chapo and Clinton together, it goes even farther back, and there's nothing about any donations or anything. In fact, if you look up the state of El Chapo's assets, his assets, his family's assets, and pretty much all of his associates' assets have all been either frozen by the United States or seized by the Mexican government. So for him to even be able to do that is basically ludicrous. His hands could not be more tied. And yet the story, it had been passed around so many different social media outlets that it's fucking ridiculous. Like, people were just taking it like it was gospel without even bothering to check.
What even is the purpose of that lie?
I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I know the Clinton Foundation was catching a lot of shit for taking donations from foreign investors, especially those that we're supposed to be enemies with.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really gotten a chance to look too much into it. There probably is some truth to it here and there, but this was, basically either just after the election, like to the point where they were trying to affect the decision as to whether or not he would actually be the president-elect. And they were basically just trying to throw everything they possibly could on both sides of the fence to try to smear each other. And yeah, they were basically scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point.
Yep. Amanda, you got a story for us?
Wait, actually, can I just say, what's the bet? What's the bet that Trump and his missus up at the moment before he's like inaugurated?
Baron, you're a robot. Your mic's.
I'm a fan of.
or is it me?
Oh, it's not. I don't think it's not me.
I was hearing robot
too.
voice from Bering. But
Yeah,
you guys
it's-
are fine.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing.
Yeah, he definitely. wrote it.
Well, no.
No, fuck.
Are you on your phone or a computer?
Me, I'm on my phone.
Oh no, him.
Oh, just making sure.
Is that better?
Yeah, way better.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my computer. I might have a faulty fucking USB jack or something. But I was just saying, what's the bet that before he actually becomes the president, do you reckon Mrs. have got a president erect in a joke? I reckon that they must have.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
To be honest, man, part of me can't wait for his presidency to start because I just know it's going to be a gold mine of jokes for the next 4 years.
yes.
Like if we thought Bush's presidency was the perfect cow to be milked is for jokes, it's going to be so much. It's going to be so much worse with Trump.
Yeah. Bush was like a dumb bumbling fuck, but like Trump's a bit like sort of Biff out of Back to the Future or something. Isn't he?
Oh,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they modeled it after him.
Yeah, they did. They totally did. You could.
Did they really?
Yes,
Yeah.
they've admitted that. They modeled that after him.
That. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I can't believe
President Biff.
I can't believe our two options were boiled down to Hillary and this guy. I mean,
Right?
it's terrible. How terrible are we Americans? This is our two options.
Oh yeah, we've definitely slipped into some kind of strange alternate universe.
Bread and circuses. That's all they are worried about now. We're gonna fall like Rome did.
Yeah.
Hey,
On
it's
that-
like that. It's like that alternate future in Back to the Future where Biff's the fucking the rich
Yeah.
guy.
oh
Isn't
yeah.
that weird?
That's what we were talking about. That's what they modeled after Trump. That's a Trump presidency.
Well,
That's what that movie is supposed to be.
So does art reflect history or reality, or does reality reflect art?
it's hard to say at this point, man. I mean, there's already a few other good arguments for examples that the Back to the Future movies predicted the future.
A lot of science fiction books. Actually, the science fiction writers had a huge impact on science itself.
Right.
So on the topic of fake news, Michael Brown's hands up, don't shoot surrendering to Officer Darren Wilson never happened. They called him a gentle giant. The facts of the case were he just committed strong arm robbery. He was stopped by Darren because a radio call that showed him fitting the description, and he punched Wilson, tried taking his gun, and then after failing to get the gun, backed up and then charged Darren Wilson, who then shot him. And it was confirmed by 8 black witnesses and the FBI. But the HuffPost report, but CNN, MSNBC, and a bunch of other news sources reported that he had his hands up.
Nothing to lose with their
classic.
chance.
See, I
What?
hadn't heard the real story behind that. That's how prevalent the fake one is.
Yep. So
Oh, yeah.
that is why that's what started all the protesting and all those riots that burned. A bunch of people burned down their own neighborhoods and their own local stores because a criminal attacked a cop and tried taking his gun and got shot doing so.
Well, they had to do something to get justice. For fuck's sake! What do you
Right. But why would you burn down your own neighborhood? That is so dumb.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, ever since the Rodney King scandal, man, it's pretty much like people were just waiting for the opportunity for something like this to happen so they could call racism and make Rodney King 2.0, and that's exactly what this was.
What happened with what was Rodney King? What happened in that one? Was there bullshit spun about that, or was that a legitimate?
Oh
That's
man,
legitimate.
yeah, it was legitimate, but honestly, I don't really remember too much about it. When it happened, I was still a little kid.
Yeah, but I can remember seeing the video still. I remember him pulling his car and beating him.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was bad. Yeah. But ever since that happened, yeah, people have basically been wound as tight as hell and just waiting for another example to come around. And honestly, that's what the whole Michael Brown thing was. They were just waiting for another excuse to call Rodney King.
What's
Yeah.
stupid is that police brutality is a subject that really does need to be addressed. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or the name that should be a household name but isn't is Kelly Thomas.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a 6-minute long video where you watch that cop purposefully beat that man to death, and nobody
Mhm.
cares because he was a homeless white veteran.
Yep.
Right.
Jesus.
So the problem is, they focus so much on these stories that aren't examples of police brutality, and then they completely ignore these stories that are actual examples, and they
Yeah.
try to make it a race thing where white people can get beat by cops too, Asian people can get beat by cops too. It's not a race thing.
Oh yeah, viciously. I mean, I remember hearing a story right around the same time the Michael Brown thing happened about a mentally ill. I think he was like an escaped mental patient or something, and 6 cops not only beat him to death or beat him near to death. He ended up being taken to the hospital and dying later, but they basically tased him in the face for like a solid 12 seconds.
In the face.
Yeah, in the face.
Ah.
And of course, nobody called it. Nobody really called too much attention to it. Why? Because he was white.
Saw one that was a white
that's true.
family, and it began as a traffic stop, and it ended with the cop had pulled them all out of the car, had them all laying face down, and ends up shooting the husband in front of the wife and kids.
While he's lying on the ground.
Yeah,
Holy shit! How do you fucking explain that one away?
I
don't know.
never heard anything about charges being brought or anything. That they sweep them all under the rug, and they make you pay attention to these ones that aren't real.
Right.
It is sorry.
Everybody wants to call the cops Nazis, until they actually do some legitimate Nazi shit. But and then everybody's asking about the race of the victim. If he was white, nobody cares.
Of course, hashtag not all cops, but there's also an example of there was a chase, car crash. The guy was getting out of the car with his hands up, just exiting the wrecked vehicle, right?
Right.
The police officer had his gun drawn already and just out of nerves actually pulled the trigger and shot the guy in the head. He was unarmed, exiting a crashed vehicle, injured.
Yep,
and
I remember
shot him in
hearing
the
about
head.
that.
And even the police will admit that there is a problem, but it's the unions make it hard to get rid of police officers that are bad examples. That's why I think they need to be forced to carry some kind of insurance, like doctors, like malpractice insurance.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
So
eventually.
did that cop get away with it? The one that shot the dude in the head?
No, I believe he was prosecuted.
Right.
But still, I mean, the not having control of your weapon, having your finger on the trigger in this situation was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you would think since they started forcing cops to wear body cams, it would have prevented a lot of this crap. But honestly, I don't think I've seen very much of a marked improvement. But then again, it's kind of hard to say because now everybody's trying to spin the news and make things out to be things that they aren't, and outright ignoring, police brutality when it does happen because the victim is white. Perspective has been completely lost.
Exactly.
There's one thing I feel like is important noting. When I went through my training, they show you a bunch of different videos of cops that did it wrong, right? And
Are you a copper?
no, I'm in the military, but they give you the similar training.
Mm.
So anyways, I watched a video of a police officer pull a guy over who was a veteran, who then jumped around saying, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. And then when the cop refused to and tried to talk him down, he went to his vehicle, pulled out a rifle that was not loaded, slowly load the rifle for an agonizing 5 minutes while the police officer was getting more and more panicked, telling him to please to step away from the gun and step away from the vehicle. And eventually this veteran, loading his World War II era rifle, ends up shooting the cop dead multiple times. So a lot of cops, who are trying to do the right thing, they should have acted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely should have. Fucking hell.
How long are you going to let this guy load a rifle? I mean, were we supposed to wait for him to point it at you? No.
Oh, if I was a cop, the second that someone actually has their hand on a gun and you know for sure that they've got their hand on a gun, I'd be killing them straight away.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I find that to be one of the most disturbing parts about this. I mean, in recent studies, we've found that on average, cops are more hesitant to shoot black suspects as opposed to white suspects because they essentially fear the media backlash that's going to happen. And if it's going to have that much of a chilling effect that, a cop will literally watch his own executioner load the weapon for 5 minutes before he will do anything about it because he doesn't want to be, smeared across the media to the point where it's going to get him killed and it's unavoidable, that is not acceptable.
When I was going through my simulator training with a 4-man team, there was a room, some maybe terrorists, maybe not, maybe just Afghanis, and one of them goes to reach for a rifle. I shoot him in the head, but before I shoot him in the head with the simulator gun, I tell my team to hold their fire, and then I shot. So the instructor said, pause the simulation, asked me to explain my actions. I said, well, he had a rifle pointed horizontal. how quickly it would take for him to turn an automatic rifle and shoot all of us in a row.
Right.
But I told my team not to fire because I only needed the one bullet.
Yeah, pretty
I would've
much.
done.
But
Hell,
I would have done the same thing, but with an army roll. Would have been fucking epic.
so it's a screen. You're pointing a screen with a laser gun, basically that acts like a real gun. So it's there's you can't army roll. You're attached with a wire.
No chance to find a car then and do the Starsky and Hutch slide.
Exactly.
Yep. And I'm trying to remember the name of the. I'm not sure how prominent of a voice he was, but he was a pretty outspoken BLM activist, and they actually put him through a police training simulation. You know, as to basically just to give him the idea as to how much time you really have to react before somebody pulls out a gun and blows your head off. And you know, he openly said after that, yeah, I didn't realize that, you know, they had such a short time to react, and you know how bad things are in reality. So he basically said he was going to, you know, change his perspective from there, and, you know, change his activism, you know, think about the things that he's been saying. It didn't do a dent in the BLM narrative at all. Like it literally got no media attention.
I did see that video. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
That's why I always say that what we need is malpractice insurance for cops, better training and better screening. Like,
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
all we need to make things much better.
But what's malpractice insurance for cops going to? It's not going to increase accountability, is it? I mean, it's not going to.
Well, they would have to pay for their own insurance, and it would be affordable. But if you get like a civil rights claim or something against you, then that makes your insurance rates go up. Just like if
but then aren't you penalising cops that actually did do the right thing and say did kill someone in self-defense? Or, you know, as a precaution type thing when they're in danger, aren't you putting them under undue hardship to do their job?
Well, I would say that if it can be proven that you were not in the wrong at all, then your insurance rates shouldn't go up, and then only the cops that are doing things they shouldn't be will get penalized, and eventually they'll become uninsurable, and it'll get them out of the force and bypass the unions.
Right.
Yeah, but how long does it take to sort out something like this? It could be a year or two before there's a verdict, couldn't there?
Yeah, it can take a year or so.
Yep, and within that year, you can be guaranteed that this all these crooked media outlets are going to do everything they can to spin the story one way or the other, and that's definitely going to end up affecting the verdict.
But
In the
it's
case of-
better.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
It's better than no plan, which is leading us towards a civil war. I mean, they're twisting things left and right. We're going to end up in a race war and a gender war and a war against the state and the people. They're just trying to divide.
Do you reckon it could actually get there to a race war?
I personally do. Yes, I mean that's one of my biggest reasons for having come out and starting a channel in the first place. I have two nieces, two blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white nieces who are too young to really know anything about race wars or you know all these racial vendettas that have been building up over the generations. And I basically just, in seeing all this anti-white crap that BLM has been saying, I basically said enough is enough. I'm not going to allow them to grow up in a world that hates them for the color of their skin, for shit that their ancestors did.
I saw a poll recently on how the attitude towards BLM, and a lot of it was a minority of black people and people in general that supported the violent actions of BLM and a lot of the violent rhetoric of BLM.
Mhm.
So I think that the people who support that violent rhetoric is a minority, and I think that I'm skeptical that it could become a race war, but I definitely see more violence from the minority. I mean, you can still have a very violent minority that is causing problems for us as a nation, but I don't think enough black people, enough white people, or enough of any race hate the other race enough to create an actual war.
But I can see a progression of things where the minority is so very vocal that they're going to incite anger within people who have seen this coming for generations. Like I've heard this from my grandparents and everything, saying that this was going to come, and it's going to instill that fear, and it could leading to more and more divide, especially if they keep doing what they're doing in the media.
A way to avoid this would be to make sure that we're not, we're not pushing this fake news. We're not getting this message out. You know,
I mean, the thing that worries me, honestly, it's not the amount of people that support the violent narrative and the violent actions of BLM. What worries me is the patterns of the past and knowing how quickly that number can increase. It doesn't take much. All it takes is one small misunderstanding or one rumor getting out of control. I mean, if you really want an example of that, all you really need to do is pay attention to Nazi Germany, like in the days right before Kristallnacht started happening and what was being said about the Jews. And it's strikingly similar to a lot of this white privilege crap that's being spoken, and all this anti-white rhetoric that's going around. And it despite as many sparks as they're trying to fire off, it hasn't really started a wildfire yet. But history shows us that when it does happen, it happens so fast that the people it ends up affecting, they don't have time to react. Before they know it, they're being.
Well, the big difference though is that the Jews were the minority.
Yeah, that's true.
In Nazi Germany.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's another thing. We know that the white population in America is declining, and almost any time that's spoken in front of a live audience, it's responded to with applause. And to me, that's fucking chilling.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That is chilling. That's fun.
I mean, shit. Look up a lot of these slam poetry things. I mean, if you can stand to watch it without vomiting, just listen to the crap that they're saying and listen to the response from the audience. It's fucking terrifying.
There is a lot of white hate going on in America, but I still think it's a minority.
Yeah, it is the minority for now. I just hope it stays that way until we can get this fake news crap figured out.
Maybe I have too much
and
faith
I
in humanity.
suppose the worry is that the minority seems to have the ability to make their voices heard because they're working for fucking media joints and that sort of thing.
Right.
So another story that was by and large ignored was the Salon rapings and all the violence in Germany.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was a clusterfuck.
Last New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Yeah, complete media blackout.
Are you talking specifically New Year's Eve or just in general?
In general, but New Year's Eve. But see, it's been going on regularly. That was just one event, but what the news is refusing to report on what the people on the ground in Germany were reporting is that they're living in fear in many neighborhoods because if you go to the wrong place around the wrong people, you're very likely to be assaulted.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Sweden too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear about all the stuff going on over there either.
Right.
And the only people reporting on this are the independent reporters that CNN wants to put out.
And the people there are scared to say. They're scared to say this to the reporters. They're like, no, everything's fine in Sweden.
Yep. Well, around the time of the Cologne attacks, I mean, I remember the cognitive dissonance that was surrounding this was just legendary. I mean, everybody wanted something to be done, but nobody wanted to speak up about it because the people that were committing it were Muslims, and those people were already well into their own victim narrative. So, nobody wanted to, paint any negativity over these people that were.
Especially the feminists, weren't they? Funny?
Oh yeah. Feminists for refugees.
I mean, shit. I don't know if you guys remember. There was a story about a woman who was actually raped, and she actually came out saying that she did not want to report him to the police because she, quote, didn't want to cast aspersions on the rest of the Muslims around. I'm like, are you fucking serious? You're gonna excuse your rapist because you don't want to promote racism, even though
wasn't that a guy? Wasn't that a dude that was raped?
Was it? I honestly don't remember. I just remember the story.
Unless it was a similar story, but I seem to remember that being a bloke. Yeah, fuck.
There's also a story of two young refugees raping a older lady in a wheelchair.
Oh my god.
See, they don't report on stuff like this, and then you get people like me who are like, oh, we should take in refugee. I really believed this because I didn't know how crazy things were getting in countries that were already agreeing with it. From my point of view, denying taking in the refugees felt like back in history when we wouldn't bring in the Jews when all that was going on.
Right.
We turned people away, and we ended up on the wrong side of history.
The problem,
and you don't want to do that again.
The difference here is that you're bringing these people who are not comfortable in our culture. Their culture is so vastly different than ours that it's not good for either person. However, it would make more sense for a neighboring state that has a similar culture for us to pay for and help to build camps or even, improved living areas where they can go instead of bringing them to a place.
Or use that vast fucking existing camp in Saudi Arabia. Fuck's sake.
Right. Well, I just find that the longer this debate goes on about whether or not we're taking in refugees, the more hyperbole is thrown at it. The more assumptions people make. I mean, a lot of times when people lash out against Muslims or people even that they think are Muslims. I mean, fuck. Everybody remembers how many Indian people who were not Muslim in the slightest ended up being the victim of hate crimes because people assumed that they were Muslim around the time of the 9/11 attacks.
Also Sikhs.
Yeah, exactly. And the more hyperbole builds up around it, the more dangerous it ends up getting. You're just basically building up the powder keg that we're already sitting on. I can understand why people would be nervous about it, and I can also understand the people who would want to bring in refugees as well. Personally, I think that we should, but the more hyperbole is tossed at it, the more dangerous it becomes for both parties once we do. So
there was a poll.
Yeah, but on what basis would you bring him in? I mean, surely you wouldn't just accept the hordes of fucking just single blokes like Europe.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. No, there definitely have to be some kind of a screening system for sure.
So thus far, the refugees have come into the United States have been 49% males, and only 25% of them have been within the age range of military age males.
Right.
However, from Syria, where they're coming from, 83% of them say that Sharia law is the law and they should be above the law of the nation that they're in. So they believe that when they come to America, even though they're not the natives here, that Sharia law should be the law. So those are the people you're bringing into your nation. They believe in the stoning of women and the throwing gays off of buildings and stuff like this. That's the law they believe in. And also, ISIS has clearly said that they're intending on sending their fighters into our nations as refugees. That is their game plan. And there have been terrorist attacks in the West that have been done by refugees with marching orders and training from ISIS. So with all this data that is publicly available, I think we should be cautious of who we bring in. There are plenty of people who are refugees that you can do background checks on, and that they're not ISIS. But there's a lot of people that we're bringing in that is impossible to do a background check on, because when Syria has been destroyed and there's no records to check, how do you do a background check?
Yep. It becomes more and more of a problem the longer it goes on, unfortunately.
Right. Also, another fake story I have on the topic of ISIS is that they were the JV team, and that they were nothing to be concerned about, even though they were trained by the U.S. and armed by the U.S.
Right.
And that the intel community had already told the president that if he pulled out, that this is what's going to happen. That the Al-Qaeda in Iraq is going to take back the military armaments because the military was, in their words, incompetent and ill-prepared to deal with it.
Jesus.
So that was a fake story. Also, most of the military at the time dropped their weapons and joined the terrorists.
What?
Right.
What the Syrian military?
No, Iraqi.
Oh, right.
When they in the areas where they fought ISIS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a heap of American equipment left?
Oh yes.
When
a lot of it.
What was that about? How come that happened? Was it just not enough transport to get it back?
Well, there's two things. First, we armed the nation we left behind, so we gave them weapons so they could defend themselves. So we left them Humvees and rifles and rocket launchers, and then we also were selling weapons in Benghazi. So there's that too.
I don't know, man. I think that's one of the issues that I don't want to say that I'm middle of the road on. I'm probably not informed enough to really make a decision about it, but it makes me nervous as hell. I mean, I have a friend who lives in Ankara, Turkey, and she's right on the border of where these refugees are passing through and where all these threats are. There's bombings there constantly, and every time I hear more mention about ISIS and a lot of their intentions to inject some of their fighters into the refugees that are coming in through these countries, it makes me nervous as shit. Like I'm checking in on her constantly, making sure she's still alive.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even without the ISIS fighters, you have to worry about the refugees. Women in Sweden are dyeing their hair brown.
Yeah.
Why to appear Muslim?
Yeah, to avoid being raped. They'll rape the blonde women because they call them sluts.
Really?
Yes. They won't
Fucking
report
hell,
on
that's
stuff
wrong.
like that. The women won't even admit to stuff like that.
Jesus.
No, because honestly, they think if they do, it's going to just make things worse for them.
Yeah,
In what way though? Like, how's? I mean, yeah, that's
because
seems
they'll be
silly.
being mean to the Muslims. They'll
Yeah,
be being
exactly.
mean to the refugees.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I mean, everybody, despite all the terrorism that's going on, everybody's wanting to separate the idea of Muslim from the idea of terrorist. And while you can do that, it is an indisputable fact that most of the terrorists are Muslim.
There is a German politician who has been threatened with being charged with a crime for saying for pointing out that the refugees were a threat.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It was going to be a
no.
race-related crime for giving a speech.
A race-related crime.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I wasn't prepared with that story in front of me, but I just read it yesterday. But yeah, so that politician whose name I'm forgetting at the moment is probably going to go into jail for a thought crime and for inciting violence when she was just saying how they should be wary of the refugees who are who are a real present danger to their society.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? What about after that New Year's Eve thing where there was all the sexual assaults, how the media came out and said, oh, it was, there was a number of people who may or may not have been refugees, and they sort of tried to make out that it was German men as well.
They reported that there was a huge number of sexual assaults, but they refused to report on the ethnicity of the persons who did it.
Yeah, because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh god, that's fucking ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I wish they would adopt an attitude like that a little bit here in America sometimes. Like, I wish every single news story didn't tell you exactly what everybody involved's race is. Sometimes it doesn't seem important. But in a situation like that, where it was obviously a specific group of people doing something, then yeah, that's kind of something.
And particularly when they're newly introduced to that, like they're a new element in that country. They are what have changed about that country. So you've got to.
Yeah.
It's a really relevant fact, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, honestly, that's why a lot of the Black Lives Matter stuff that's been happening on the East Coast here in America has had me nervous, because even though we don't have the large Muslim population that's trying to make special exception for Sharia law, we're definitely already, morally primed for that. If nothing else, I mean, all the time that a lot of the media outlets spent calling the riots in Charlotte and pretty much all the riots related to BLM, basically referring to it like as righteous indignation, completely dismissing the fact that they were doing this shit to their own neighborhoods and then it was blatant opportunism.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a ISIS-like group, I believe in Africa, that had sent a message out via social media to all Black Americans, asking them to stand up against their white oppressors and to commit terrorist attacks against the U.S.
Fucking ridiculous.
Boko Haram or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I'll have to look up the story. I wasn't not prepared with it.
Yeah, and that's why I don't have patience for pretty much anybody from feminism or from Black Lives Matter that basically try to take the actions of these people and say, oh well, they're not real members of Black Lives Matter because real members don't support that. That's not you actually speaking out against them. That's just you washing your own hands of any guilt that's associated with it.
Yeah.
And basically the idea is this: you can choose your own message, but you do not get to choose what people who hear your message do with it. And as far as I'm concerned, the only thing that would absolve the actual movement itself, from those actions would be if they deliberately came out and spoke out against it. If they actually openly said, we do not, support violence against white people, as opposed to just, dismissing these people. Oh, they're not real BLM supporters. Fuck off with that bullshit.
Similar to how there's Muslims in America that believe in Americans' culture and laws first, and then their belief system. And
Right.
those people they fit well with our culture, but people would be less skeptical of them if they would call out the other Muslims who don't believe what they believe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Muslims are shocking for that. You hardly ever see a Muslim stand up and call terrorists out, do you?
If you do, then you're apostate and you are doomed to death by Sharia law. So
Is that right?
Which is
That's
why
I didn't know that.
I can understand that behavior, from Muslims who are actually taking up residence in those countries. If they speak out against it, they are literally putting their lives in danger. But then again,
No. I'm talking about ones that live in our
America.
country.
yeah, see, those ones, them not saying anything about it, those are the ones that I have the problems with, because essentially they're being shielded by our legal system, and our, local ideologies and everything. But even still, they refuse to say anything about it. They just do the same thing that I just mentioned. Like, oh, well, they're not real Muslims. Like, well, who the fuck decides what a real Muslim is exactly?
No Scotsman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the doctors and the fucking, the businessmen and people in these Muslim communities, like the leaders, should be saying something. That'd have a massive impact.
Yeah, it would.
Well, that's why there's a lot of states that are having problems with the Sharia law. They're actually trying to implement ways where they can have little courts that do things through Sharia law instead of through United States law. And
Like a
Texas put a stop to that.
separate sort of law system. Yeah, that's ridiculous. They've got that in Britain, I think.
Yeah. Wasn't that one of the big reasons behind Brexit? Why essentially they decided to break off from the EU?
Is that right? I didn't know.
Texas flat out said not happening here.
Yeah.
See about that.
That's how they fucking should. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't do crap like that in Texas. We all got guns.
Dearborn,
Right.
Michigan, though, Dearborn, Michigan has rolled over and said this is like a no-go zone for police. This is a Muslim area where they will take care of themselves, basically.
No, we cannot allow that, man. I mean, if there's not a civil war yet, that would be the starting point of it right there. Just granting them more and more ground until eventually they have enough power to basically stand up against,
And what a load of fucking shit anyway. So you're really saying that if someone gets stabbed, you're going to have your own fucking hospital and ambulance fucking system, are you? You can live within that little fucking neighborhood.
Segregation.
Fuck off, you are.
Segregation by their choice.
Yep. So dumb.
Mm.
And also, it's not good. This is something you can't roll over on. You can't allow anyone to come into your nation to live as a resident and not have them assimilate to your culture and your beliefs, your societal beliefs, because they are so important to how your nation was first created and how it runs. If you break down the core of how a society works, which is the people and their beliefs, then that society will collapse. It won't stay in the same shape it is now.
Yeah, exactly.
What we should do is just let people like that have the Hawaiian Islands. The volcanoes are going to take it over anyway. Just
Oh my
build them there.
Right.
We'll move everybody there back here, and then y'all can have these islands. You won't have to bug the rest of us.
I kind of like Hawaii, though.
But the volcanoes are about to take it out. It's already like.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's fucking nice in the meantime, though, can't we? Yeah.
Hey, man, that'll be more reason for them to, to stay there. They have incentive to stay there. Oh, it's so nice here. We're totally not expecting
It won't
this
stay
volcano
nice,
to
though.
destroy us.
It's not going to Pompeii on you, I promise.
Once they kill once they kill and rape all the ladies in the grass skirts, it won't be fun anymore.
Right.
We move all them here. All the people that already live there get.
Oh, right, sorry.
In terms of bright ideas, and to bring a little bit of levity to this, as I was searching these fake news stories, I did find one that was pretty much completely irrelevant to anything social justice related, but it was hilarious. I decided that I had to share it. Apparently, somewhere in, I think it was Montreal, Canada, they were trying to say that this guy by the name of Kenneth Gillespie, quote, sexually assaulted a snowman. and as a result, he lost his dick and balls to frostbite. So I have an idea, despite the fact that it's clear clickbait bullshit and nobody, having even a modicum of common sense would believe it. I have an idea. I think we should introduce Snowman Fucker as a as its own special gender, and just wait for the social justice warriors to identify with it. Because I figure once they start losing their dick and balls to, frostbite, we won't have to worry about them passing on their garbage genetics.
Oh, that's fun.
There's Snowkin.
Yeah, the Snowkin. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you hear that, SJWs? Go for it.
Here's a funny one. You guys remember Free Bleeding that started off in, I think it was Tumblr?
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Oh
Oh my
got fooled
god.
by that.
Free bleeding. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
They,
That was funny and disgusting.
not as disgusting as Suits video.
The one with the
one
little
you-
fucking Asian bloke in it.
Yeah.
Oh my
video you said
God.
Watch.
Bearing, why?
Yeah, wasn't that? There was just something disturbing about it. I got it sent to me twice. Two people within 15 minutes sent it to me and said, "Hey, look, it's the Asian Andy Pandy," and so I watched it online.
Yeah.
And so I made Sugar Tits watch it. I didn't tell her what it was. I just said, "Here, watch
Yeah,
this."
Bearing, you fucking cunt. I actually watched that because of you.
Yeah.
I reckon so many people would have watched it because I said, "Don't watch it."
You made me watch
That's
it by telling me not to do it. You know I was going to have to do it. You fucking bastard.
It's just how people are.
Yeah, man. A lot of those things that you had covered, I honestly didn't know whether to laugh or not. What was that one that you covered about essentially them proclaiming pride in their STDs or whatever?
Oh shit! Your status.
Yeah, share your status. What the fuck?
No,
Yeah. It was a good thing to have fucking chlamydia. That was great.
Yeah, exactly.
Badge of honor.
How the hell are you gonna wear your scabies as a fucking badge of honor? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
the best one was the TEDx talk with the really, really big lady, because you start out so not like, I was sitting in the parking lot of my kids' preschool watching this, and you start out being so nice. And then you just throw in cunt all of a sudden. I busted out laughing. All the moms were
Yeah.
happy. It was great.
My proudest bit of that was the two booted legs of pork.
Oh,
Oh
great.
my God.
No, I loved fuck cars. Everybody still does that all over chat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was an instant meme.
And that was Anissian.
Yeah, Anissian. That guy. Oh, my
He's
God.
a cunt.
How the hell is he still making videos at this point? I mean, he's pretty much universally a laughing stock at this
He
point.
makes views and subscribers from
Yeah,
his...
he is, but that's his business model, man. That's totally
Yeah.
his business model. He whips up controversy every few months, and then we all get outraged, and so we all make videos pointing people to his video.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. He's a smart guy. He really is.
Yeah. Oh man, I cannot imagine sacrificing my own personal dignity to the point where, you know, I will basically say shit just to troll and cause outrage because I know it's going to bring in views. I couldn't personally do it.
Would you do it for a couple $100,000 a month?
He does make a couple hundred
That's a
grand.
good question, man. That's a good fucking question.
I can't imagine the point in their lives those girls must be in that they would write this dude's name across their bodies and send him pictures of themselves. Like,
Yeah.
As
It
a
makes you
girl,
fear
I-
for the species, doesn't it?
I would never do that.
I've only done it once. Just kidding.
Yeah, and it was anonymous. It was written on my ass cheek.
Oh Lord.
Anyone else got a news story for us?
I'm just looking at these BuzzFeed top 5. See if there's anything interesting on there.
I got one. So there's been multiple fake racist acts directly after Trump's election. There was the chalk writing of Trump and other like offensive words on college campuses. That was a hoax. There was a person who was complaining about it, actually did it. And then there was a black church that was burned down by a black member of
Who
that
gives
church.
a fuck though? Mean words in chalk. Who fucking
I know,
cares?
like-
How did they?
Well, they started that before the election too, but it was against gay people then. Now it's racist.
Right. Yeah, it washes off, for God's sake.
Right. And it comes back to the whole story about, I don't even remember what college it was at, but somebody drawing a swastika and shit on somebody's wall or something. And then didn't it turn out to be that she had actually done it herself?
Yes, she did it herself.
They almost
No. That was a different one. Both of those things did happen, but the one where she done it herself was I think spray painted on her door or something, and
Written
it kept
on her,
happening.
but-
So the cops set up some secret cameras and caught her doing it.
It
Yeah,
was written
right.
on a dry erase board. I remember.
And then there was the hijab girl who lied about being harassed on, like, I think it was a train or a bus, and then they had video footage showing it never happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the fake story I had thought up to talk about was Hillary Clinton. They protected her so much from laughing when she defended that guy that raped that 12-year-old girl,
Yep.
and she laughed about it afterwards. And they literally came out on CNN and said that didn't happen. She did not laugh about
I
that.
did a video on that.
There's a tape
Yeah.
of her doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Has anyone heard of it? I've just seen this one here. I've never heard of this one, but apparently there was a fake story Rage Against the Machine were to reunite and release an anti-Donald Trump album.
Oh my God. I think I saw that mentioned somewhere, but I never actually looked into it.
I did not hear that one.
Oh my god.
Imagine the songs, imagine the fucking lyrics. That'd be fucking painful to listen to, wouldn't it?
Oh,
I think it
wow.
would be hilarious. Their first comedy album.
Oh God.
Yeah, but like, imagine, like, cause it'd sound awesome because it's Rage Against the Machine. But then, like, they'd be singing about fucking misogynists and fucking bigots and zealots, and oh fuck off, cunt. Like, it'd be so frustrating.
If anybody could make feminist issues sound hardcore, it would be them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also that time MSNBC and CNN reported that when there was the bombing in New York, and then Hillary and Trump both referred to it as a bombing within 24 hours, and then they cut out Hillary's word saying that it was bombing, and then posted like for 3 days straight saying how Trump had jumped the gun, calling it a bombing before they really knew, when Hillary had done the same thing.
Oh my God.
They edited it out.
Well, the media came out and admitted that it's all fake news when they said nobody has worked harder for Hillary Clinton's campaign than us. The media has given her a free ride.
Wait, was that HuffPo? I think, right?
That was I can't remember which news channel, but it was actually on the air on the news.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Hillary fucking dying and having cancer and all that shit? So I thought she was going to die. What happened there?
Well,
Oh,
she's
no,
been out of
I
the she's been out of the media. She has been out of the media for such a long time. She might be sick still. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know there was a lot going around about, her essentially having seizures and spasms openly. Like there was a video of her like nodding really enthusiastically, but it turns out, it's some kind of like a seizure or something.
There's one of her passing out.
There's some beautiful memes based on that of getting about. There is some fantastic memes.
Oh my
Somebody
God.
went back and I saw a video on it. I have to go find it again. But somebody went back and proved that she's been having like mini seizures for a while.
Yeah, she has. There's a video of her passing out, I think at the 4th of July.
Right.
And they're giving her medicine that's anti-seizure medicine. And apparently she can only be in the public eye for so long before they have to go get her another dose. Somewhere along those lines.
Is that the one where she's getting into the van and she collapses?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know I saw like footage of her staff or handlers or whatever having to help her upstairs. Like basically having to hold her by the arms so she doesn't fall on her face on the stairs and all this.
I totally buy the stories that she already died and it's a body double. I buy it.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to believe that. That was a fun one to believe for a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She does have a body double, but it's not being used the way people are saying, right? Like, I think
How's it being used?
To
fuck Bill.
Right. Yeah.
That's what she's using for, yes.
And how fucked up would that be if her sickness just turns out to be some brand new STD that she caught from Bill? Like she was patient, like he was patient zero, and he just passed it on to her. Oh my God!
That's what I was gonna say. It was created within his body.
Yeah. Oh my god. There's a combination of all the viruses picked up from all the other women he's been with. Just became one super virus.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Apparently, he was a shocker, Bill Clinton. I saw on a doco. Like, he was really fucking bad. Did you guys know anything about that? Like, apparently, it wasn't just old Monica. It was fucking every bird he
There's
saw.
14
Oh, of
women
course.
that filed cases against him for unwanted sexual contact while he's president.
That's a lot of chicks.
Yeah.
That's like I've never had one report to me. Like that's a lot of chicks.
I think like 3 of them were there during one of the debates.
Yeah, that's right.
he looked terrified in that picture where he's looking at them.
Yeah,
They
that
look
picture
like
where he's
blood.
sort of looking out the side of his eyes, that was fucking funny, wasn't it?
They got
Yeah.
paid money to drop the cases, but because he lied on the stand, he got disbarred. He also lost his license to be a lawyer, and got
Was that while he was president or after?
well, it's also why he got what do you call it, impeached. So both things happened for the same reason. He lied on the stand, so he was impeached for that crime, lying, not the crime of raping women or sexually touching them when they didn't want it. But it was actually the lying on the stand, and then also he got disbarred for the same reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so he was impeached. What was the result of being impeached? Because he didn't get turfed out of office, did he?
Well, he got
finished
much
his term, didn't he?
Did he finish his term?
It was
I'm pretty sure he did.
it was like at the end of his term anyway, so I think he just kind of finished it. They just
Right. It was
Well,
pointless
honestly-
waste of money, really.
Honestly, I think a lot of the reason that this whole rumor mill about his sexual deviancy is still going on doesn't really have so much to do with more evidence being found as it is the fact that he just kind of he's kind of embraced it over years and is treating it like a joke. I mean, shit, he showed up as a guest voice actor several times on Family Guy.
Yeah.
The actual Bill, get fucked. It was the actual him.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if you remember the skit where he's walking out of his house singing "It's a Wonderful Day to Be Nude." Like, yeah, that was actually him, if I remember correctly.
Holy shit, I had no idea.
I'm gonna look that
makes
up.
it so much funnier.
I'm gonna look that up.
I had heard it was
I mean-
him too.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I never actually went and confirmed it, but that is what I've heard. And honestly, if that's the case, it would not surprise me in the least.
Well, everything we discussed here, I'm gonna try to find links for to put in the description. I'll probably have a job finding that though.
Yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
man, there is one fake news story that I saw recently that kind of both made me sick to my stomach and at the same time gave me a little bit of hope because it had all of a grand total of like 7 shares. I guess people were able to see through it right away, but it was from World News Daily, and the title was "Electoral College Elector Commits Suicide to Avoid Voting for Donald Trump." Are you fucking serious? Yeah, they were referring to a Michigan elector by the name of Jeremy Hashville, and I actually had to do some looking around and try to find the ballots and the actual submissions and government websites. But there were 16 electors in Michigan, and not one of them was fucking named Jeremy Hashville. And like even the image that they used turned out to be an elector from another state by the name of Brett Schiaffalo, I think his name was.
What a name!
Yeah, but it was just solid bullshit right from the get-go. You could automatically tell.
You remember after the election, they started pushing the narrative that the electors for Trump were going to change their vote to something else, so he wouldn't
yeah.
win regardless.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
when the electors actually finally voted, more people that were supposed to vote for Hillary moved to Trump than from Trump to Hillary.
Is that right? Was there some shift?
Yes, a huge shift.
compared to what it was meant to be.
I think he had 106 electors, which he's supposed to have had 180 or something, right?
There
Something
was at least one super feminist one who said, I don't care which way it goes. I straight up will only vote for Hillary.
Yeah,
whether they like it or not."
But more of Hillary's electors voted for Trump than vice versa.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't know that.
And honestly, man, it's a debate that I've never really wanted to get into because I will freely admit there's probably a lot to the logistics of it that I don't understand. But this whole electoral college setup that we have makes me nervous, and not really in for what it is so much as the fact that the state of transparency surrounding it is just abysmal. I mean, I had to look everywhere just to find the names of the 16 electors that came out of Michigan just to confirm that this Hashville
Yeah,
folk
that's
was not on the
not
list.
right, is it? They're meant to be your fucking representatives.
They're picked by the candidates, so you wouldn't really have any power over that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just kind of find it disturbing in its own right that it's hard to find information on who these people are, what views they espouse and all this.
Yeah.
It should be easier to find them on some kind of official listing, and I had to poke around everywhere just to find it.
So I dislike how they're picked, that the candidate picks their own electors. But
Right.
in general, I like the big part of how we have electoral college system because it covers the land mass being more fairly represented. Because
Right.
you have a population that's focused in only a few areas, then
Mhm.
all the interest of say
but doesn't that mean that the people aren't represented equally? Like,
Well,
aren't people more important than land?
Here's how it works. So California is one state that's only a certain amount of land, but has a lot of people. But California has vastly different interests, not agriculture as much, more about what big city people care about. So
What do you mean? What do you mean? California has certain interests. California isn't a living being. There's
No, the people in
California's just lots of
California.
people.
Sorry, when I'm referring to the state, I'm referring to people inside the state. But they're all making decisions for the entire United States, which is multiple, like almost individual countries, right? So each state has its own government. So
Right.
a state that's in the flyover state, so one in the middle of the country that has a lower population, has vastly different concerns than California. But if you go by population, their vote, all the people inside of that state's interest, will not be weighed very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So the electoral college system still gives a huge weight to population. So there's a lot more votes for California, 55 or something like that, compared to the 3 votes for give me a state in the middle.
Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know, Kansas.
Kansas, sure, go Kansas. So Kansas has only like a small number of votes. So California's population still has a heavy weight, but it gives a little bit of an advantage to the states that have smaller populations, so that interest can still be represented.
Yeah.
So it's about balancing it's about balancing people and geography basically.
Basically. So the general idea of the electoral college is important, but I don't really think I agree with the fact that the electors don't have to vote based on the way the people pick them. So like right now, if California voted 50-50 for either candidate, it's 55 to the winner.
Yeah.
So 50.1 wins, right? So
Yeah, you'd think that'd be the purpose of the state election. I mean, because a federal election is just a number of state elections. I understand.
yes.
So you would assume that is the mechanism that dictates how the electors are to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean,
they
honestly,
have
that's
common sense.
right. That's why I never really wanted to weigh in on that debate too much, because I can see good arguments on both sides of the fence as far as the necessity of the electoral college's existence. So, really, I don't think I'm qualified to say too much on that, but I still think there should be a higher degree of transparency around it. I mean, the more I looked into this, the more it became clear why they decided to choose, when they wrote this bullshit story, they decided to choose Michigan as the state of this supposed suicide. And it's because I could only find the list of these 16 names on 2 websites. One was Wikipedia and the other was Politico. And on Wikipedia, Michigan was the only state that had literally no sources listed for the official names list for their electors. Like the only source they actually had was some Politico article about the motorcycle lobbyist and that they have among their number. The rest of it, like, it was saying literally nothing about it. So pretty much, if anybody decided to fact check this shit, they would not find an official source about it. So I don't know. Just to prevent bullshit and news like this from coming out, there should be more transparency surrounding it. That's my main opinion on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
definitely.
should be. And they also they told that same story as like a joke about an elderly lady who passed. She made it like her obituary that she chose to die rather than have to vote.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Another fake story was the Huffington Post reporting that Trump had a 1% chance of winning.
Well, they were all reporting that he wasn't going to win.
Like, you know why that is though, right? Because they were oversampling Democrat voters, because they believed that there would be a huge decrease in Republican and conservative voters and a huge increase of Democrat voters. So they skewed the percentages because they assumed that Republicans were disenchanted and that Democrats were encouraged based off the last elections numbers.
And they
Yeah.
didn't count my generation at all.
Not at
Right.
all.
Yeah, the more I hear about stories like that, the more it reminds me of the live election day footage that the Young Turks did.
Oh,
just-
wasn't that classic? That
was
was
great.
It was a slow motion train wreck. Like, I was in tears watching them
Have
break
you ever
down.
seen some funny cunt's done a video of like the whole day just over like 15 minutes? It's fucking so funny.
Yeah, just the look on Anna Kasparian's face, like, oh, just
Her pure rage.
fucking priceless.
Since we're on
Yeah, that
since
was
we're on the
great.
topic, I just want to point out Young Turks are idiots. You guys suck. Everyone knows it.
Oh yeah, god damn it!
But well done on securing Sean King though. That's an asset.
Oh yeah, now
asset
they got a
there.
black guy, right? So
Yeah. Oh yeah. You couldn't throw more air quotes around that word black.
I was
Like-
actually proud to be one of the white women that she was railing against in that tirade. It
oh
was-
my god, what a bitch she was.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, that
funny
was-
as
that was
hell. Yeah,
really
I'm better than you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you? Are you really, Anna?
Right? That's what I was thinking.
I mean, really.
I've got a YouTube channel. I'm better than
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, you are a member of the race against whom the actual historical Young Turks committed genocide, and you're on that show by that name, and you're telling us that you're better than us. Is that what you're saying, Anna? Go fuck yourself. And
well done on the nose job though. That's a plus. You did well.
I think the biggest tragedy about the Young Turks to me though is the descent of Jimmy Dore, because I remember long before he was ever associated with them, when he was a stand-up comedian. I mean, he didn't exactly have a stellar career or anything, but he was pretty decent. Some of his jokes were pretty hilarious. But watching him melt into this, I just. Look, I'm not a fan of Alex Jones, but watching him spit in his face, I would have punched him in the mouth right then and there.
Oh, me too. I would have fucking killed him. That was so Weasley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I carry too many knives on me. You don't want to spit in my face. I'll fucking stab you.
Concealed carry here.
Oh, and speaking of beatings bearing, I swear to God, that video that you did not too long ago about Steve Shives when he was trying to basically justify his position on Trump's whole sexual assault thing. You kept stopping the video to say, "I would beat the fucking shit out of you."
That was awesome.
I swear to God, I'm turning that, as soon as I get a new phone, I'm turning that into my ringtone. I would beat the fucking shit out of you, Steve.
Not many people there's not many blokes that can say, no, I wouldn't have a go against Steve Shives. Have a look at him. He just looks fucking weak, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I could kick Steve Shives' ass, and I'm 5'3" and 100 pounds.
I believe it. I believe it.
That makes me wonder, though, if my idea to introduce the Snowkin, the Snowman Kin, and Steve actually decided to become one of those, do you think his wife would be able to catch him on it? Because if you ask me, her vagina has to be fucking frigid anyway. So
Steve would start fucking and go, "Oh, geez, this is warm."
Yep.
If he fucked a snowman shaped like a woman, that would be misogyny. So it would have to be shaped like a man.
Right. I think a decent sized Gus could best Steve Shives, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I watched a video of his from 3 years ago, just the other day. It was that one where he goes, "Fuck the men's rights movement" at the start, and he looks as fat as fuck in that. He's not as fat as fuck, but he looks it because his face is so broad. Like he's lost so much meat, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that video set the tone for me starting to hate him. I was subscribed to him for literally like maybe 3 weeks or a month before that video came out, and as soon as it did, I'm like, okay, wow, I guess I'm done with you, Steve.
Well, that's when he started to turn, isn't it? So I didn't know him before. I've always known Steve Shives as just the cuck that he is. But so did you actually know him as a decent atheist YouTuber?
Well, kind of. I mean, he sort of came around for me right in the middle, like right between when the whole skeptic community moved from taking down creationists and terrible creationist arguments and started moving into the social justice thing. And right on that border is when I became introduced to him. And I mean, for a while there, I actually thought he was at least relatively clever. But as soon as he stated his position on the men's rights movement, I mean, I've never really considered myself a MGTOW or anything. I wouldn't be able to, but a lot of it, a lot of the things that they were saying, I could at least understand where they were coming from. So when he opened his big fucking mouth, talking shit about the men's rights movement, I was done with him like right away. I was almost, as soon as I subscribed to him, I was almost immediately after that just thoroughly done with him.
Yeah. How's that wife? That wife of his she sends shivers up my spine. That woman.
Yeah, she does. Oh my, the level of entitlement, like the look on her face.
I still say he loves that. He picked that on purpose. Like you could see it in his face. He eggs her into being mad at him and stuff. He gives her reason.
Yeah, I think he's into it.
Yeah, if anybody is ever confused about the definition or the origin of the word cuck, they need look no farther than him. That's what a cuck is right there. Like if you told me Steve Shives paid people to fuck his wife, I wouldn't be surprised.
So I kind of thought that like he'd gotten a girlfriend in fucking late high school or something, and then just latched on just because he couldn't do any better, and he was sort of this oppressed little mouse sort of thing in this relationship that he hated. But do you reckon he actually loves it? He loves the.
Well,
he likes being repressed. Yeah, that
video that you showed of their relationship, like he's trying to get her to yell at him about the fact that he likes Angel better than Buffy.
Oh,
He
right.
Kind of
drags
is,
her
isn't he?
into
He
it.
kind of is, yeah. Now that you
She-
mention that.
She didn't start it at all, and she wasn't even upset at first. He continued to push her until she was upset with him. He does that on purpose.
Yeah.
She's still completely unreasonable though. She's still a massive cunt.
Oh yeah,
man.
Angel's way better than Buffy, and everybody wants to fuck Cordelia just to shut her up.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, fucking hell.
honestly, man. I've come to find that if you lie to yourself enough times, eventually you start to believe your own lies. So, frankly, I don't think it started off with him being a sucker for punishment. I think it's basically like you were saying, Baron. He basically got into a relationship. He thought he wouldn't be able to do better or find anybody else, and so instead of standing up for himself and no longer taking her crap, he essentially just convinced himself that he liked it until eventually he did.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
probably she's just chipped away over time, and he's just accepted more.
She
and
literally
more.
eroded his life. Like,
And his manhood.
Well, it makes you wonder, like, where are they going to be in fucking 5 years? Like, he's just going to be this little fucking simp, like in the corner in rags. Like,
He'll probably have a leash and a collar.
yeah.
yeah.
He would be so much more funny if he wasn't so fucking tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen his Steven Stuffy series? That he's so fucking
So
cringy,
disturbing.
that he's so
Ugh.
where he talks to stuffed animals. Literally, that's
Oh my god.
so
See,
sad.
this is the first time I'm hearing about this, and now, like, part of me wants to go and see this for myself, but part of me doesn't want to watch that.
You have to after straight away after this stream. Look up Steven Stuffy. It's just horrible. It's fucking horrible.
Oh my god. I mean, does that mean that I can officially blame him for the queer kid stuff nonsense that's been happening too?
It's a little different than that. I think it's kind of him trying to relive different moments in his life that he wished had said something differently. So he imagines he's all the characters.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that, but it fucking well is, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he is now projecting his insecurities onto his literal stuffed animals.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
fucking-
That's what it is.
That is adorable.
Oh, and he does different voices. Like they've all got different accents. Like one's a black guy who talks like this, like this motherfucker, and he actually say motherfucker and shit.
And we're the
one's
racist
like an
ones.
Irish.
We're the race.
I have to
Yeah,
watch
one's an
this.
Irish guy, and it's funny as fuck.
Yeah, maybe that's why he has that beard. Like that's his attempt to just have natural blackface without actually having to put blackface on.
He needs some oppression points.
Yeah.
Now that I mention that, I'm almost curious to see him shave that beard, just to see what an unshaven cuck looks like. Or a shaven cuck looks like.
Hey, you're gonna hate me for this one. You have seen Naked Steve Shives, haven't you?
I have not actually. Should I?
Okay, there's a photo going around, and it must be from before he met his wife, so he's pretty young.
Yeah.
But there is no shit a photo going around of him standing there naked in his bathroom. It was on a dating site, a dating profile that he fucking
Oh dear God.
made. Like it's him showing off the bod, and he's like he's not wearing a hat, which is fucking weird. Like it's really really weird to see him without a hat.
Yeah,
He's legit naked. Look it up and look at it and then curse me.
God damn it, Bearing. Now you said that, I have to post it in the description of my video.
Oh, you'll all look it up. You will all look it up and look at it. I guarantee you.
Oh, for the love
I
of God.
guarantee I
If not,
will.
if not straight away, you'll do it sometime today or tomorrow.
fuck. See, I'm gonna try to push it out of my mind, but it's just gonna burrow in, and eventually I'm gonna have to look it up.
You know where you can find it. He's on that. He's on the Drunken Peasants. Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got like a wiki
Yeah,
list
that would be
on
the place to find it, wouldn't it?
God.
You will definitely find it there. So.
I'm gonna go look up someone I want to see naked instead.
Oh, you're gonna look that up too. Trust me.
Oh my god. I did not think he could be more embarrassing than he is. And then I hear this. It's just
Yeah,
rapid
it's
fire. I hear that he's projecting his insecurities onto stuffed animals, and that there's a naked picture of him. Fuck.
Speaking of people who's changed over time, Shake from the Young Turks is his name, right? Shake?
Shank. Yeah.
Shank, sorry. Shake's funnier
Oh,
though. Chunk, sorry. Take us a look at some of his videos back a long time ago and his points of view. He's changed drastically. It's been like a slow descent into madness for him, I think.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah,
be
definitely.
subscribed to the Young Turks. I actually was for quite a while, but then they started running into this social justice crap, and the change was just unsightly. Of
Yeah.
course,
Everyone's like that. Most people I know actually watched the Young Turks. I did a few years ago. They were okay, but then they they just went to fucking shit. They just became these fucking virtue signalers.
You could actually take the Young Turks back then and Young Turks right now and have them debate themselves with the counter arguments.
Yep.
You know.
Oh, someone should make
know
that
what?
video.
Somebody should, man. Somebody.
I think
did that,
someone
but-
actually has made that video. Are your phone?
That's like the Nancy Grace where she
Yeah,
takes
that's what I was gonna say. Man.
marijuana.
I was gonna say somebody did it for Nancy Grace. Now we need to do it for Chunk.
Yeah. If someone hasn't made that video, one of us has to make that video.
Oh man.
I've got a feeling someone has. So look that shit up.
Yeah.
I used to watch them, like, I got into the tail end, I guess, of when they were making sense. And then I just kind of watched them for comedy. Like, they were so fucking crazy. It was hilarious. And then I found
Yeah.
Bearing and everybody else.
Right. Oh man.
I think Bearing's one of the first big YouTubers that I started watching, and also Armored Skeptic and Sargon.
It went
Yeah.
from Bearing to Suit to everybody for me. Like, I was in everybody's streams. I've only been hanging around since November.
Yeah, pretty new.
I think my introduction into the whole anti-SJW thing started when Thunderfoot started speaking less about science and more about politics, which had kind of a rocky start. But I think it was him that originally mentioned Sargon, and then through Sargon, I ended up getting introduced to Tildir and Bearing and all of them.
Yeah, wasn't Thunderfoot's video great last week? The one on Moriarty. That was a
Oh.
good video.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Fuck Moriarty! Oh my god! Fuck Moriarty with just a rusty baseball bat wrapped in razor wire. Fuck
Yeah,
him.
like I knew he was a cockhead to me. Like he had it in for me, but I didn't know he was just like that to fucking everyone. Like
Yeah.
outside of his circle. That disappointed me.
He,
I thought he just had a grudge for me.
he
Actually,
chose the name Moriarty. Like, wasn't that a clue?
Yeah, exactly. He fucking
No
chose the
relation.
name.
Mm.
Actually, I think it was. I do kind of have to thank him though, because I think it was him that got me originally attached to Chris Raygun. One of his original response. He made one of his. Actually, I don't even think it was that long ago, but he made a response to him where he started referring to his accent. He was calling him Atlas in reference to BioShock. I'm like, wow, thanks, Chris Raygun. I'm not going to be able to unhear that now.
Yeah.
So from now on, to me, he is not Moriarty. He is Atlas. He is the poor man's Atlas.
Oh, he's a professor at a university too. I just thought you better know that. 'Cause
Yeah.
he doesn't tell
He
me.
doesn't.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, he never says that.
Of course
Yeah,
he's
it's to the point now where he pretty much punctuates every sentence with it.
yeah, imagine that. I'm a professor at a university. So anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm a professor. Oh, are you really? Why should I care?
Of course, it's
You're a professor of
He
physics.
peppered it through
Really?
fucking everything. He really did.
Doesn't act like a fucking professor, or at least not a good one.
No, fuck him. No, I'm sorry. And if he ends up confronting me over this, I will do the same thing to him that I've done to Michael. I don't give a
I
fuck.
don't think he will. I think he's long gone.
Yeah. Michael, oh my God. Michael and Tim, their Facebook page, their Twitter pages have turned just into the saltiest thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's quite funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you seen Christy Winter's video? Like the list of her videos, they're almost all about you, Barry. I think she might love you.
She
Yeah.
wants
Oh, yeah.
to talk.
She wants to ride you.
Yeah.
you reckon she got some fucking
Oh, yeah.
dick off?
Yeah.
You're always
Lucky you,
really
Barry.
harsh to pick the ones you love the most, right?
Tim wants me
Yeah.
to like him so bad. I find it hilarious. I always call him a two-faced cunt, so I wanted
Yeah.
to take the chance to do that.
He's also a glutton for punch.
Yeah. And it's so, but that's an uncharitable position. to hold. It's uncharitable.
Uncharitable.
Fuck off, Tim.
Like I said, that's why I was glad when he made that response to my video, essentially calling me a Nazi and saying I was dehumanizing these people. I'm like, that's great.
That was a
man.
great video response, by the way. The one talking about your friend. That was really good. That.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I honestly haven't even told that guy that I have a YouTube channel yet. I mean, he's the kind of guy that he retains his positivity in life by distancing himself from that kind of drama as much as he possibly can. So
Yeah.
honestly, I'm torn as to whether or not I want to tell him about it. But one of these days, I might actually introduce him and bring him on, like maybe a live stream or something. But yeah, when he started saying that shit, I knew for a fact that he did not watch my video. So I'm like, thanks, man.
Well, they don't. They fucking really do. Like, have you seen on Christy Winter's channel? There's like she's been doing this series where they all get together and it's like back show type thing. they've been just about every episode has been whinging about something I've done like recently, and the things that they say, you just like you don't actually know what I said. You're going off pure hearsay. Like rarely does she actually watch my videos, but she knows exactly what I've said and how to best argue against them. She's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, no. Like I said, any one of I'm not, particularly contentious or combative by nature, at least not by default. But as far as I'm concerned, Christy Winters and Michael Rowlands and their entire circle jerk, they're fucking scumbags. None of them deserves respect, and I didn't intend on giving it right away.
Did you see my? Did you see my video on Christy Winters?
I don't think I have yet, actually.
You should watch
Calling
it.
her the wrong name, y'all. It's Fisty Splinters.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm misgendering her right now.
I was so fucking proud. Thunderfoot calls her Fisty Splinters. How good's that? My name's so.
Oh yes, fantastic.
Fisty Splinters.
The funny thing is, your cartoon caricature of her face is now more easily recognized than her actual face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. But well, there's a couple. There's the one where she's protesting, which is like a full body shot, where she's got the flapjack tits and all that. And then there's the fucking the roaring dinosaur one.
Yeah, when I used that towards the end of my first video, man, my only regret was that I couldn't find the sound bite that goes with it.
You gotta give that to us.
Oh, the roar.
Yeah.
It's the Tyrannosaurus Rex out of the original Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, that's it. I knew it sounded familiar. I just couldn't place it.
She would almost be bearable. Like she would just be another wrong feminist running around out there if she wasn't so fucking pretentious
And
about
smug.
it.
She's
Yeah.
so smug too.
Oh yeah.
And I'd have a much different opinion of her if just once doesn't matter how minute the issue. If just once I'd heard her say to anyone, "Oh look, yeah, you're right. Maybe I was wrong, or maybe I was mistaken." It's not in her. It's not in her. She'll
do it.
She'll fight things that she knows are factually incorrect to for pride's sake. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yep. And just in the nature of observing, the nature of ideology, through the rise of this social justice crap, I've had to ask myself several times, well, how do I know for sure that I'm on the right side of things? How do I know for sure that, I'm actually identifying with rational people? And frankly, that's how I identify them. If you actually have, the humility to be able to say, okay, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Then at least you have some measure of introspection. But these fucking people don't. They just double down. That's all they do.
And they also won't call out each other for being wrong. So take on the ranting feminist, for instance. She said
that shits me so fucking much.
She'll never call out a feminist.
Yeah, I hate that so much.
And whereas us skeptics, we will call out other skeptics. I mean, Bering and pretty much everyone else on Earth.
Well, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the Atheism Plus movement ended up tearing itself in half right before this social justice crap started hitting. That's basically how it happened.
That's the most annoying thing that I always find in their videos about you, Bering, is they always want to say that you attacked like a 13-year-old feminist, but the opposite is true. You defended a 14-year-old one against a skeptic.
Yeah. I've never attacked a 13-year-old in my life. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's horseshit, man.
Brad the Impaler got Tim to admit that was bullshit, and he was just spreading shit that he'd heard from somewhere.
They also grossly represent your character. Like, you've helped out a lot of younger YouTubers. I think you were like my 6th subscriber or something like that. You pitching me is the only reason why anyone knows who I am.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same thing for me, man. Really.
Well, it's an important thing to do. I think, like, it's you've got to help, and not only that, like there is a degree of not selfishness, but there is something for me in that. I mean, because if you help out small YouTubers, like ones that make sense and that can make good content, then you're creating allies, aren't you? Like here I am now on this stream with you guys. Like you've got channels, you've got audiences type thing. Now that's a good thing for my business. It's a really good thing because you guys go out there and you say good things about me.
Right.
So it's not purely altruism. It is in part, but.
Yep. As soon as I get a chance, one guy that I want to do a collaboration with of some kind is Sir Sick. Yeah, he is, and
That's
it was,
awesome.
you know, we basically came to an agreement on that. The fact that his channel went through a lot of growth for the same reason mine did, because it, you know, it received your plug. So we pretty much decided that, you know, if we ever build up the kind of following that you have, we're basically gonna, you know, pass the torch the same way that you did, you know, just to keep this rolling.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of guys that do that. Suit Yourself is one that does that. He's really good with that.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's good. You pay it forward, and we all have a good time.
But shit, man, it happened so damn fast for me that I'm still.
Ridiculous cunt. You were fucking stupid. That made me jealous, motherfucker. That was fucked.
I didn't even expect that. Like, and
You
see,
went
the
from
thing
like
is,
one or two. I think I was literally your second subscriber or third or something.
yeah, something like that.
And you were at like 10,000 in like a few days.
Yeah, I just broke. I think I'm like at like 11,250 something now. And the thing is, I didn't expect that. When I referenced you in my original video, all I really wanted from you was to, you know, just personally to like give me some advice, like in a private message or something. I honestly didn't expect you to give me a plug like that. And even then you did, I didn't expect that many people to come and identify, which just I'm sorry, makes Michael Rowland salt just that much more delicious. But
Oh, it's so funny though, isn't it? It's so fucking funny. Like when I mentioned it in that video, like there's no rebuttal, and that's how you can tell you've hurt Michael Rowlands and Timmy and that really hard. If they don't mention something, you've really fucking hit them where it hurts.
yeah, I like the fact that you pointed out that they put that censor bar over my subscriber count. They're like, oh. Are you mad, bro?
No, that's stupid. You think I cut it out? Well, why wasn't it there, cunt? Why wasn't it there? Like he's gone. I just took a screenshot and it didn't, you know, end up going in the video. Fuck off! A screenshot it captures your whole. Things don't disappear off a screenshot.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of happened to me too, but on a smaller scale. I was just in everybody's comments, and then there was a little bit of drama, and I had to put out a video, and suddenly I had over 100 subscribers, and I'm like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
It was funny. I think a lot of people actually liked my initial reply that I made to Michael's stupid logical llama reply when the second time I ended up releasing that first video, because I had to fix a lot of things that were broken. A lot of people
The things that you put at the start there, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people were quoting the fact that I said to him that he was that I essentially intend to take a bigger bite out of this social justice stuff, and he was nothing but a light snack. Like I didn't even really think it was that clever. I just, you know, I was just saying
That was pretty good. I remember having a good chuckle at that.
That
Yeah,
made me laugh too.
I was just saying what I feel. I basically told him, no, motherfucker, you were a light snack. Fuck you.
Yeah. So who's your next one? Have you got any plans for your next one?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I know there's a few that eventually I want to get around to, but I'm kind of hesitating a little bit. I mean, one of them would be Milo Stewart, because like you said about, you know, the whole idea about talking to a 13-year-old. In my eyes, despite the fact that I hate all of the rhetoric that comes out of its mouth, she, to me, is just a confused kid, and a part of me still has hope that eventually she's going to see this for the nonsense that it is, and she's eventually going to grow out of it. And I think that at least on some level she has good intentions. I mean, I don't know if you saw that recent collaboration that she did with Roaming Millennial, you know, calling for
didn't see
yeah,
that at all.
yeah, they're basically coming together talking about, you know, how we should keep discourse respectful and all this, and I can agree with that, you know, at least on the level that they were trying to present it at. But I don't know. She said a lot.
Well, to me, it's about responding in kind. It's not necessarily always keeping it super respectful. It's responding in kind. If you're respectful to me, I'll be respectful to you.
Right.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think a lot of people expected me to be, you know, pretty much inflammatory with everybody that I respond to, basically because of the way that I handled Michael. I must have called him a fucking simpleton like 5 times. But like I said, with all that, with him and his group being at the center of that doxing crap that was going on around you, I was fucking furious before I even responded to him. As far as I was concerned, he was beneath me already. Like I had no respect for him, so fuck him. But yeah, I don't really want that to set the tone of all my future videos, because I don't really intend to be that guy.
Oh no! Don't let it. Have proper, intelligent debate if you can. That's always preferable.
Right.
It's as I said, it's about responding in kind.
For sure. And another one is another one that I really want to reply to, but I really don't want to. I was talking before we went live here. I told him about it. Fucking Ghazi.
Oh goodness.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ghazi. Yeah.
I'm doing
like-
a
See,
Ghazi response.
that's one that you can't. You really can't help but swear at Ghazi.
Yeah.
Ghazi's
Yeah, I was telling them because eventually I'm going to put out a video in the future here as to why I see this whole white privilege thing as bullshit, because I personally am mulatto. I am part white and part black. So I have seen this with perspectives from both sides of the fence. And frankly, I can tell you this white privilege nonsense is bullshit. But because of that, every time he opens his mouth with his anti-white bullshit, it makes me want to fucking choke him. And like,
yeah.
so like,
And he says some ridiculous shit. Like, it's not your stock standard fucking white privilege. It's how's his little cuck mate, his little white mate that just echoes him. He's so funny, that guy.
yeah, I mean, oh God, that guy, I want
talk.
right. I want to feel bad for him, but honestly, he is responsible for it. I mean, just in the video that he did to introduce him, he what did he say? He has the complexion of a toilet seat. Fuck you,
Yeah.
Ghazi.
He's standing there nodding, going, yep.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh my God. He's such a smug piece of shit. Like I think about responding to him, but then I remember how many times I had to watch Michael's bullshit argument over and over and over just to make sure that the editing in my own videos were correct. And now I'm thinking, do I really want to subject myself to that shit with Ghazi? Like, do I
That's a
want to
good
see
point.
his fucking face in my dreams?
That's a fair point.
Even that 2-minute video is so infuriating.
Yeah.
Hey, unfortunately, I do need to bring this to a close. So
All right.
thank you, every last one of you, for coming. Thank you, Bering. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Hans.
Thanks for having us.
I really appreciate
Absolutely.
you guys coming. It means a lot to me. You guys could help, and we had a great conversation. Just to my Cubs know, I'm planning on having a collab with both Amanda and Hans coming up.
Right on.
But also, after those two collabs, I'm probably going to have a little bit of disruption in my videos. It's time for me to punch my time card, and I'll be going overseas. So I'm not sure what internet access I'm going to have, but I'm planning for the best. So I'm planning to do videos continually. I should have some form of internet available. I'm just not sure how often I'll have access to it.
Yeah.
So,
Right on. Well, man, as soon as you get the chance, I'd be happy to do this again.
well, I still have
Yeah,
a few
definitely.
days. You guys know my timeline that I'll be working on videos until I'm actually leaving, but it'll be very soon.
Yeah, fair enough.
And again, thank you very much, Bering, and Amanda, and helping Hands. Have a great day.
Yep. you
My
too.
pleasure. Good on you.
It is
Dire
great to
Wolf.
be here.
Thank you very much. Dire Wolf out.